Hey everybody, Mike Gillette, and I had an interesting observation yesterday during a workshop with some athletes. Athletes part of a team sport, and one of the questions that I typically ask is, what are things that you notice about yourself when you're playing well? Feelings that you have or thoughts you have. And then after they sort of go through that, I'll say, okay, so when you're not playing well, what kind of thoughts go through your head? What sort of feelings do you notice yourself having? And so we go through that. And then I'll typically ask, um, what what do you think is driving that? The negative feelings, the feelings that are not helpful to competitive play. And not surprisingly, because this happens fairly consistently, they had pretty good ideas. They had pretty clear observations about themselves. Well, I think when this happens, then it makes me feel that, and then I probably do this as a result of that. And for the most part, those observations seem to pretty right on. And these are not super experienced athletes. These are like high school age, maybe 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And the thing that I notice with younger people, adults, is whatever the situation, athlete, non-athlete, when I ask about the nature of a person's particular set of obstacles, they have a pretty clear idea for the most part, at least what the problem is. It's not some mysterious thing that just kind of comes up and envelops them, and they don't really understand it. They have a pretty good idea of at least what the problem is. And also too, if I say, okay, so if you were me, what advice would you give yourself? And oftentimes that advice sounds pretty good. Now, it may not be complete, it may not be the solution to every circumstance, but instinctively, intuitively, I think most of us have a pretty good idea of what it is we need. And yet, it's still pretty common to sort of look outside of ourselves as though the solution to whatever's going on, lives somewhere out there. And it's up to us, to kind of march through the forest and then hopefully come upon it. Where in reality, I think it's a lot less mysterious most of the time. There may be mysterious aspects to it, but by and large, I think most of us know what we need. It's oftentimes, to do things that we don't want to do, do things that are either uncomfortable or may in fact be, scary to us, and the scary part may be any number of reasons. But it's usually something discoverable, and it's usually something that is executable. And if you can get comfortable with the idea that if you're experiencing obstacles, so much of that comes from within. We oftentimes create our own obstacles. We create the limits that we place on ourselves, or we hang on to them. They may have come from somewhere else, a parent, a teacher, a coach, you know the media, whatever. But it's us that hang on to those things, and it's us that basically make those limits seem real. We perceive them as real, and we act as though they're real. Ergo, they are real to us. They are certainly real limits. But if we're clever enough, to sort of create all these, labyrinthian, mazes and obstacles and difficult paths for ourselves, then it stands to reason that somewhere within us also resides much of the solution. So be someone who can accept that part. If you can conjure up all of these clever bad scenarios, think about the fact that you're probably equally capable at concocting solutions to much of that. And then if you can accept that, then give yourself permission to start doing that. Start giving yourself permission to, begin the work. Now, you may not be able to get yourself all the way. Maybe you need a trusted friend or a mentor or a book or a DVD or whatever to get the complete picture of that and how to solve for it. But a lot of the heavy lifting, I'm confident that you can start doing that all on your own and do a very creditable job. So explore that possibility. Start doing the work. Give yourself permission to begin the work, and then get to work.